this is Heavy Thrash Metal of Nasty Metal Production channel at YouTube. Okay, I'm going to talk about Retro Thrash Metal. Yes, I'm talking about that. Alright, I'm not gonna try and make this video as long, but I'm gonna get at least to the point. Retro Thrash Metal, when it first started off, kind of showed, I think when everyone heard that thrash metal was making a comeback, they were like, oh shit, yes, yes. Once the band started coming out, it was doomed. It was doomed from the beginning. Really doomed. And honestly, up until now, I think it's why the speculations of it dying. It's because of you had, again, if the theme was all about killing posers, or killing, emo fags and shit like that, forgetting the actual point for what made thrash metal it was in the 80s. Yeah, you did have a few, but they held it back. It was held back because what it was mostly focused on was actually crafting more, it was aggressive, it was more punk fueled, it was more, sometimes taking some of the metallicness of the new wave of British heavy metal, and then mixing it with some of the hardcore punk, or some, look at, for example, such as Slayer's first album, such as Metallica's first album, Kill 'Em All, or even you go into Germany with bands such as Sodom, Crater, Destruction, and while those bands didn't kind of talk about poser, they mostly talked about, Satanism or something, more on the darker side, and it was more rebellious. Right here, it seems like they're some of these bands are just more bitter. Like they're, it was more juvenile. Really forgetting the real point for why thrash metal, and plus, look at Fueled by Fire's artwork for, I forgot the name of that album, but you know what I'm talking about, the repress though, because it was two copies. Two presses, one with a different art than the one that Metal Blade put out, which has what is said to be a thrasher, so, guy with denim vest, leather jacket, beating up, strangling an emo kid or something. It really, I think, lost a lot. It was stupid. And even the music wasn't nearly as good as it should have been. But enough of that. Let's go in. I think this guy's kicked it off. Joel Grind, Evil Never Dies. Now this guy, I think, had the right attack. Knew what to do with it. And that wasn't always talking about posers. It was like talking about, let's say, nuclear war, like a little bit of evil as well. But, it was all some of the Teutonic bands were kind of, and it does have that a bit on this album, that sort of kind of Sodom sort of destruction like style. I dig that. Dig this. And the first Tux Holocaust album I ever listened to was Hell on Earth. But Evil Never Dies is pretty fucking good. This is actually a repress in the Relapse label. Not the original press that was on Nuclear War Now Productions. Or Records, whatever. But that definitely kicked it off. And them, definitely a band that definitely had a lot of people talking, definitely. And were definitely one of the stalwarts of it. Municipal Waste, Hazardous Mutation. And we got to see another glimpse at an artist who would, I think, would see art that would frequent most of these retro thrash albums, and that's none other than Ed Repka. Again, the retro thrash bands wanted to be so retro that they had to get a guy who did artwork for such as Megadeth, such as Violence, even some death metal bands such as Massacre. You know, they wanted to be so retro that they had to get his art, get him to do their artwork, and obviously that becomes a theme, and it gets quite redundant. And here's another one that really had a lot of people talking for a bit as well. None other than Merciless Death. I talked about my video, don't need to say as much. Evil in the Night, pretty much, you know, a little mediocre. But again, a theme. Ed Repka's artwork. And another one that will become a bit of a driving force in the retro thrash metal scene, none other than the now defunct label. Where is it? I can get. Oh wait, I don't have a light on. So let me do that. Let me turn the light on for a bit. Let me get, and right there, Heavy Artillery Records. And again, here they keep going with the releases. The Speed Kills again compilation. Again, they wanted to try and keep up the Speed Kills comps, which started in the 80s and was mostly focusing on thrash and speed metal bands. But there will be, I will have to show this again, because there's a band on here that would actually break out of the thrash metal scene and actually create another scene that's now become quite a driving force in recent times. Keeping it going, Merciless Death in 2008 releases their second album, and probably the better one, Realm of Terror. This one, I think they definitely got it right, and people definitely kind of on the Metal Archives rate this album very much a little higher than Evil in the Night. I think the lowest score you're ever gonna find is probably 70, but honestly, this one's definitely better. And wait, that ain't Ed Repka's art. That's Andreas Marschall, who did artwork for power metal band or classic German speed power metal, Blind Guardian. Alright. Waste. Okay. I didn't want to, but I had to. Honestly, this guy really wanted to cash in. I showed this. He wanted to really cash in on this movement. None other than X, As I Lay Dying, and Douchebag. Tim Lembestis with Austrian Death Machine. And again, Ed Repka's artwork. Honestly, this guy just wanted to cash in. While there's definitely, I like some songs such as Rubber Baby Bug. God fucking damn it. I don't want to spend too much time talking about that asshole. This is definitely, I think, one of the last bands to actually, again, to come a part of the later parts of the retro thrash metal scene. And they still release stuff to this day. Other than Havoc, Burn. Now, I also want to get this out of the way as well. Members, Sean Chavez, I think all of you know, recently passed away. Just a few months ago, and this was actually the last one he ever did with Havoc before his passing this year, and this was released in 2009, and he left in 2010. Not bad, not a really bad album, but it's kind of a boring album. It's again more like, let's recreate the styles of Megadeth, the Metallica. Yeah, fuck off. The last band I think that kind of really break. This is one of the last ones of the retro thrash metal scene, and that's Dr. Living Dead. Showed this in my Havel Records video. Again, Sweden's answer to municipal waste, but much better. Again, this time more focusing on sounds of suicidal tendencies, which I actually dig, and they actually do that sound justice. Again, they've now are signed to Century Media and released a new album this year. Knew about them when they were releasing their demos. If anyone wants to know who killed the retro thrash metal scene, and for good reasons, definitely gets my respect, Death Hammer. This band came in pretty much during the whole retro thrash scene, but man, I think that not everyone was feeling it yet, because once they released like Phantom Nights and this, you knew that this band was actually pissed that those bands probably ever got as far as they did. This is just fucking raw aggression. Everything about this. It's what the retro thrash thing should have been more focused on. Should have been more variety instead of bands that are just repeating the same shit over and over. Who wants to hear songs about getting drunk at fucking parties, getting so wasted, kicking the shit out of a fucking poser or something? Who needs to hear that again? I don't. Stupid. Again, here's another one that definitely pretty much helped Death Hammer kill off the scene. That was Ranger. Another good one. Fucking love Ranger. This album's their newest one. They... Again, another one. Well, they haven't released as much as they did, but Antichrist. Again, even one of the members in an interview pretty much said that Antichrist does not want to be associated with it. That is all party shit. Does not want to be. And I totally agree. This is not party thrash. This is just serious shit. Alright, to try and end some of this, I want to also say that the reason for why retro thrash metal is pretty much dying because of even some of the bands like Municipal Waste, Merciless Death, you know, on and on and on, except for Toxic Holocaust and Havoc, are all, are just disbanding, I think. I think most of these bands are like keeping it hard to try and get stuff new. And Municipal Waste, from what I've heard, are sounding tired. Their album from like 2011 to whenever that album came out was said to be a really tired album. Honestly, it seems like bands just can't keep it together. It's like they... And that's what should have been indicated when the steam was starting off. It's like there is one theme, and I said it again. Posers and shit, you know, zombies, whatever. It was a reoccurring theme, and it was getting old quickly. So there you have it. My video on retro thrash metal and for why it's dying. Alright, this is Heavy Thrasher saying I'm out.